So we didn't cover the last thing. We went all the way through until we got to page 9, and that's where we quit. So just for a review, although I don't think anybody really needs it that's on there today, because one of the most important thing was the main menu, which I think everybody is kind of comfortable with. Is there any questions about the main menu in FL-DIGI? Let's just do it that way. We'll answer specific questions or problems.
How about you new guys? You good? Because we covered this last time.
Right. Anybody have questions or concerns or anxiety about the main menu on FL-DIGI? Is that a raised hand, Steve, or what was that?
No,
Oh, okay.
yeah. Assuming nobody's stuck on mute, then I think we can move on.
Yeah, okay. The other thing, of course, is what's very important is the sound card setup. And again, that would vary from sound card to sound card. However, let me get into what I did last time was start FL-DIGI. Does everybody see FL-DIGI running on my machine?
Yep.
Okay. So under configure dialog, miscellaneous, miscellaneous? No, it's not under miscellaneous. It's under configure dialog sound card. Okay. And settings. Why didn't it do that?
It'd be under devices, I think.
Yeah, devices. Man, I'll tell you. Irregardless of whether you have an external sound card or an internal sound card, that's where you're going to set up your capture and your playback. I don't have a radio connected to this computer, so both of them are in microphone. So my waterfall is basically a depiction of the room noise and me yakking. Okay. And if I was to, well, even if I went to tune, now I can't, I don't know if that's going to work. Nope.
Yeah, you got to close your dialogue.
No, you know what it is? There we go. The picture, my gallery was blocking it. Oh yeah, I do have to close the dialogue. So if I were to go to tune, you should be able to hear that. Everybody hear that? The tone? No?
Nah.
Oh, okay. I'm surprised. Let me turn up the volume a little bit. Huh, okay, not hearing it. Okay. Well, I'm hearing it. Don't take my word for it. Because it's sending the sound to the computer speakers. Okay. But of course, that would be where you would again configure dialogue under sound card devices. And then that's where you would capture and play back on whatever device you're running. That's where you do that. Okay, so those are the two really important things from last week. Okay. Now again, I've got a very minimal, if we go to, I don't know if I loaded it or not here. No, I guess I didn't. Okay. If I go to, let's go back down to this page and I'm going to try to load. This is the FL message main screen. Now, one of the things that you want to keep in mind is whether you're using FL message, you only need FL message to send. If you're going to send something in FL message, obviously you have to open it up. And you would only open it up after you start FL-DIGI. And that really holds true. We're not covering it tonight. That also holds true for FL-AMP. FL-AMP cannot operate by itself. it doesn't open up automatically like FL Message does if you receive an FL-AMP program or an FL-AMP file or a file via FL-AMP. So you would open up FL-DIGI. If you're going to send a message with FL Message, you would open up FL Message. Otherwise, and that's another important thing we should really maybe review a little bit. And again, I'm only going to talk about the let's go back to FL-DIGI. Okay, everybody sees FL-DIGI?
Yep.
Right. Okay. File, not file. Config dialog and miscellaneous. You want to look for miscellaneous, and under miscellaneous, we want NBEMS. I call it NBEMS. When I first learned about NBEMS, which is Narrowband Emergency Messages Service, it was affectionately known as NBEMS. So you go down to NBEMS, and this is where you set up your FL-DIGI to automatically open up FL message if an FL message is sent. Okay, if you're receiving an FL message, somebody's done an auto wrap and sending up an FL message. The first thing you want to do is the NBEMS data file interface should be enabled. Okay, not necessary to open up a message folder, so that's unchecked. This should not be checked, and I haven't really set this up. A lot of people don't pay attention to this and they leave it checked. And what this does, it says transfer direct to executing FL message. If you already have FL message open, maybe you received a file before this one's coming in, and you have it open, and that's checked. It'll put the new received message in the FL message that's already open. So you may miss it because you might have already minimized that and you're looking for a new one. So that should be unchecked. You should have a new FL message come up every time somebody sends an FL message, especially in a net group where you're all, everybody, you might have several people participating. So that should be unchecked. Open, and then the open with FL message should be checked, and unchecked should be open in browser. You don't really need that unless you plan to print it. If you're in a situation, maybe out in the field, and somebody wants a copy of all the messages that come in, it's unfortunate, but there is no print function in FL-DIGI. So you would have to check the open in browser, and every time a message came in, it would open up FL message, which you can see the document, but it would also open up your browser and allow you to print the document for a hard copy if you want it. Otherwise, that should be unchecked. And then open with FL message, again, should be checked. And then in this window here is where the path is going to be. You need to know the path of your FL message. Now, it's a little different in Mac machines, and I have a separate document. I'm not going to go into it now. There's a separate document. Actually, it was on the website, but when I loaded it, it didn't have the right document attached to it. So I'm going to have to look that up and send it to Jeff where he can correct that. I noticed it last week, but because I didn't get to the subject, I didn't tell him about it. But this is in in Windows. If you're not sure where FL message executable is, that's what it's looking for. You can go to locate FL message. It'll bring up, a browser. It'll bring up your file manager in Windows and bring up the Finder in Mac. But there's a different procedure to get Mac to automatically open it. So strictly talking about, you would need generally it's on the C drive. I'm talking about Windows C : / it's usually maybe in programs.
Yeah, I put it in the chat where it is in my Windows machine.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. All right.
That's typically where it is.
Yeah, it's usually in the 386 programs directory.
Yeah.
Under that, it's FL message, and inside that folder is flmessage.exe. That's what
Yeah,
it's
and your FL message folder will vary with version, of course. So,
right.
you know.
Right now, what happens is every time a newer version comes in, okay, yeah, you should change it because you don't want to keep opening it up
Yeah.
an old version. It may become eventually not compatible with the new version. So it's always good to know where it is. Okay, so that's very important. You know, that's something that people get hung up on, especially newbies. They don't know how to automatically open FL message. Okay. All right, so let's take care of that. All right, so let me see if I can open my FL message, which is a very minimal installation. Can you see that, the FL message screen here?
Yep.
Okay, now that's not the same as the one I had because I only have one form here. Let's let me go to yeah, that's the only form that's there. Well, maybe a blank form. And what I did as an example, let me go back to preview and go to page 9. Can you see page 9?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. The FL message main screen that I was using for this particular document was the ARRL radiogram. Okay, another popular one. There's a whole bunch of them, and there's a lot of custom forms for Red Cross, which can be gotten if you go to it's in the documentation. I can't, maybe Carl knows it offhand. Carl, do you know where to get the custom forms? The exact address? It's under
Don't remember.
yeah. We will, anybody who's interested in it, email me and I'll get you the right one. I believe that it's one of the documents that's available on the DigiNet document. But
So if you are in FL message and you go to the form, you could go down the Red Cross and there's two options to download from SourceForge or another website.
I would stay away from SourceForge.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay? They are a bunch of gonifs, all right? They design things so you think you're downloading what you're looking for, and it's completely different program and it's promotional stuff. And
yeah, it's a download manager that you're downloading.
yeah, right. So you can go to other places that won't do that to you. SourceForge is like the used car salesman of the computer world. So yeah. Okay, in any event, let's just talk about the main screen here. It's almost the same layout, functionality. You've got file, and under file you'll have several functions for file, saves and saves as and all that kind of stuff. The forms, again, let me go to the live program, more or less live. It's a drop-down menu. Can you guys see that?
Yep.
So there we go. Okay. Now, again, I don't really have under custom forms. If you really had the forms, they would be all listed there. Okay. There's Red Cross forms, and there again. But again, yeah, that's it. w1hkj.com. That's what I couldn't remember. Okay. That's the guy who authors these programs, and he has his own website. Now, there was a while he was hacked a couple of years ago, and he took the whole thing down, and that's when SourceForge, okay, it should be SourceForce. That's what they do. But anyway, they took over, but now he's back, and you can go to w1hkj.com and find the files and load them without a bunch of other stuff trying to be shoved down to your computer's throat. Okay. This might even take you to his website. If I click on it, let's just see what happened. Aha.
I think it does.
Yeah, but
maybe not.
Yeah, maybe not. Okay, so, and it could be because the Mac's a little goofy. Okay. But anyway, all the forms, there's even CAP forms, Civil Air Patrol. When I was 14, I was in the Civil Air Patrol, but that's a whole new, thing there. CSV, comma separated value, not to be confused with CVS. Okay, that's a drugstore. Actually, it used to be a consumer value store, and then it became more drugs and that. All right, anyway, so this is where you would get your forms if you had them. Okay, and some of them are there. The ICS forms are there. Okay, one of the most popular is the ICS 213. Click on that, and you got incident command system, and Carl's gone over that several times on the Sunday night nets to deal with these. Even when Carl reads the stuff, I like bringing one of these up and filling it out here because I can't read my own writing, and I can type faster than I can write. My hand gets cramped, so it's great to have these forms available. Okay, anyway, templates. There's certain templates you may want to create. We didn't get into templates that much. This is important. Now, this is just where you would put your personal data. Can you see that in the upper left-hand corner? Your call, my telephone number, my name, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Date and time, you can choose the way it's presented, the way it's displayed. Not that important. This is a little things on the way it's wrapped. Everything that's there, I kept as I accepted defaults. Okay, radiogram, again, there's some defaults there you can change if you want. ARQ, this is very important. Okay, the only thing that should be checked in ARQ is sync modem to FL-DIGI. This has gotten me, I don't know how many times, okay? On the Tuesday net, when Barry, now it's the Monday net, but on the original DEN, the Digital Education Network, and now the 5-county digital net, FCD, DN, 5-county digital. Anyway, we call this Greenhorn error number 105. If that's not checked, and you want to send a message, you're receiving, you may have been changed to whatever the group is, whatever mode the group is on. Maybe you're in MFSK 128, or you're in Thor 100 or something, or Carl's favorite. Okay, you're in that mode, and you go, I have a message, and you go to send it. All of a sudden, you're in a different mode. Look down at the bottom, and you'll see that you're not matching the mode that FL-DIGI has, because that was not checked. Okay, and that should be the only one really that should be checked for most operations. So make sure that you go into ARQ and just check sync modem to FL-DIGI. No matter what your last mode of FL-DIGI is, you're gonna match it in your FL message, unless you want to change it. Okay, but at least if you're not thinking about it and things are coming hot and heavy, and everybody's been using the same mode all evening, and it's your turn to transmit, you don't want to be transmitting in some other mode. Okay. User interface, you just want to check that you're an expert, and that allows you to change all the other stuff. And it does some other things that it's kind of, it's not really obvious on what it does, but you do want to check that as an expert. Okay, because there's certain things that disappear if you're not an expert. Okay, so all right, so everything else is kind of common to a lot of forms. There's a number, a message number, whether it's routine or emergency, so forth and so on. this is just a radiogram. So if you click on, you got a time filed and a month and day, you can fill it in manually, but they both have a bunch of little dots, 3 little dots to their right. That just picks up the time of day, the local time of day, and the date from your computer. So you don't have to bother filling it in. A lot of these forms have that feature. If you see a button with 3 dots to the right of a window, it's usually because it'll pick it up, from the computer itself. Then there's a 2, and generally the same headers on a lot of these fields in the form. And then there's text. And important, right here, the lower right-hand corner, okay? Especially if you're on a repeater, you're in a group that's on a repeater. It tells you for the current mode that you're in, it tells you how long it's going to take to send that message. So if you're synced with FL-DIGI, which you should be, this should be displaying the same function as your FL-DIGI. This happens to be in, I guess it's Domino X22, and it would only take 21 seconds. Okay, so if we were on a repeater, we know we wouldn't time out the repeater. Most repeaters, correct me if I'm wrong, most repeaters around here are about 3 minutes. I know ours is. Okay, so okay. That's about it on the FL message main screen. Again, you want to start FL-DIGI before FL message. You definitely want to sell, even though we're not covering FL-AMP in this session, unless we get to it, but I don't know if we will. You definitely want to start FL-DIGI before you start FL-AMP, because again, unlike FL message, if somebody sends something by way of FL-AMP, and you don't have FL-AMP open, your FL-AMP will not open by itself. It doesn't act like FL-DIGI. It's got to be open and listening at the beginning of an FL-AMP sent file. Okay, so that brings us then to preview, and I'm going to change windows and go to part 2. Okay, basically, this is the routine for, oops, I don't know why it did that. Okay, well, we're full screen. All right.
Looks like there's a question in chat.
Oh, yeah.
That's just a comment.
Go ahead.
I was just mentioning that the expert UI, when you first run FL message for the very first time, it actually asks you that now if you want to set that.
Oh, okay.
I'm probably the only person on this call who's just installed it. So
Okay.
And it does look a little different because I think the
this is an older.
documentation-
Yeah, this is all an older version. When I did the document, I believe it was in. It was dated at the beginning on the first page.
Yeah, 2.04, and I think they're up to 4 now. Or
Yeah,
something.
and let me go back. Yeah,
I'm 40.20.
Yeah, okay, that's the one I got.
I put on the first page. If I go all the way back to the beginning here, 2014. Okay, so yeah, it was 8 years ago. Okay,
Almost to the day.
yeah, almost
to the day.
October 2014, almost to the day, 8 years. So there's been a few changes. The things look a little different. Functions, some of the functions are a little different, but basically it's the same. Let me go back to. Okay. I don't know why it does that. Why does it do that? I don't want to look at 2 pages at the same time. Okay, that's one. Oh, well, all right. I'm still learning Zoom, and I don't know why I'm seeing two pages at the same time. Oh, okay, there we go. All right. One. When in doubt, right click anywhere in Zoom and you'll get a menu. One single page, two pages. Okay. Okay, so but I don't know why it changed because I didn't do that before. All right, so this is basically takes you through, and I don't know if we need to do that for everyone tonight because everybody's done this already, but it takes you through sending an FL message. We can go through it, but I think we'll have people falling asleep. Okay, right? Does anybody want to go through this? I mean, does anybody feel they need it? Don't be shy and say, oh, I'm the only one and I'm gonna look like, no, don't worry about that. If you want to go through this, we can. I don't hear anybody, but it's pretty self-explanatory, you know. It's basically filling out the form, picking an operational mode, which you would do in FL-DIGI because you've got it tied to FL-DIGI, okay? These are, now I don't know how accurate this is because again, this was done in 2014. These are some of the nets that you can listen to or join, N-beam nets, okay?
I think they still have the PA, the New Jersey, the Connecticut, and
Yeah,
the
and
New
I
York
know,
ones.
right, Pennsylvania has a Sunday morning one, okay? I don't know if it's still at 10. I thought it was a little earlier than that.
No, they moved them earlier, I guess,
Yeah.
to get take advantage of the NBIS.
Right, yeah, so they might be 8 or 9 o'clock. I try not to get up that early on Sunday, but I'm old. All right, anyway. Okay, so that's it on the N beams and FL-DIGI and the FL message. Maybe we, yeah, go ahead.
Carl, is your hand up? Your picture has your hand
Yeah,
up.
my hand is up. I wanted to make two comments, if I may, Gary.
Sure, go ahead.
First off, I mean, yeah, you probably don't want to practice sending a message right now and show how to do that. The good time to do it, though, might be on the Sunday night Aries net, because a lot of people are standing by with computers ready to go. And I think the problem people will have if they haven't done it before is getting your computer to key your signal link or your radio or whatever. It's not composing the message, it's getting the interface to work.
Right.
Is what people have trouble with. That's point number one. And since you were mentioning the NBEMS nets, unless they've changed it in the last couple months, the New Jersey one is Sunday mornings, 9:30 a.m., and the frequency is 3584.5. That's 3584.5. And on HF, we use upper sideband, even if it's on 80 meters or 40 meters, we use upper sideband.
All right, so it's
3584.5.
I've been hearing it on 3582. Have you been on one yet, Carl?
That's the Pennsylvania net, I think. They're just below New Jersey in frequency.
And
I've been on for about 3 or 4 months.
And what time is that, Carl?
That's 9:30 in the morning, Sunday morning.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the Pennsylvania net runs just before, and they're about a kilohertz or so lower. And they sometimes QRM my location because Swedesboro is not that far from the Pennsylvania border.
All of the digital modes, as far as I know, even on the lower bands, are always upper sideband.
Yes.
Always upper sideband. Yeah.
Yes. And the NJ NBMS starts off with the mode Thor 22. Thor
Okay.
22. Gary, you probably covered the Reed Solomon ID, enabling that and all that, so people automatically.
We mentioned it like, yeah, right. We mentioned that, the upper right-hand corner and your ID and your transmit ID and your receive ID. Right.
In doubt, Thor 22 is how that net will start.
Well, Barry's net uses Thor 22 for logins. Although sometimes it comes up with code, which I don't particularly care for a login. It's really slow. The code through FL-DIGI.
Yeah.
The other thing I was going to, you said, one of the things we emphasized, and I covered it a little bit today, was how to set up your sound card or whatever you're using to trigger your radio. Here's the thing, and if I'm not sure if my FL-DIGI is going to trigger my signal link, and I use signal links on both the 7300 and the 7100. So I use signal links on 2 meter. I use signal links on HF. One of the things you can do, you can tell if the computer is going to trigger your signal link. You don't need your transmitter. Just turn the signal link on, go into FL-DIGI and go to tune, and that red light, that push to talk light, should come on the signal link. I can't speak for other external sound cards, but I'm sure they have the same function. One of the things, and I think I talked about this last week, one of the things I can't understand is how people don't know they're not transmitting, especially if they got a signal link. I don't know how many times Barry had to ask people, and these are new people, they might have been overwhelmed or something. Did your signal link come on? I don't know. I didn't notice. And then most radios, if not all, have some kind of function to tell you that it's transmitting. All the radios I have red LEDs that come on someplace. And if that doesn't come on, then you're not transmitting. You need to know, if you're capable of triggering your sound card, and if your sound card is triggered, then if you're not sure, don't test it out on a repeater. Go to a simplex frequency. If it's in VHF or UHF, go to a simplex frequency and play around on a simplex frequency. You'll be able to tell if your radio is going on the air. But the first thing you want to make sure is to tell if your sound card's going on the air. Who here uses internal sound cards in radios? Like, okay. How can you tell if the sound without the radio? They see that's the other disadvantage that I see. The radio has to be on in order for the sound card to react. So you might either want to be in a simplex channel or into a dummy load. But is there a way to tell if the sound card is working without putting the radio in the air? Anybody with a sound card, internal sound card?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
But the other thing, the good part about using the internal sound card, the simple USB interface, is that you've got frequency control. I use it on HF. I use the internal on HF, but I use the signal link on VHF.
Okay. Now, again, I've got two. It's ironic. I have two radios they both have internal sound cards. Never used them because I was seeing all the other people having all kinds of problems getting their sound cards to work right. And to me, a signal link is a plug and play device.
Yeah. One other comment that I have with that is with the signal link, because it's a sound card with a built-in box, you can very easily see if you're transmitting. Now, one of the things that I've run into is I have a Master's Communication DRA 50, which it is a sound card, but it doesn't work with Vox. The PTT is utilized through a general purpose IO pin. Okay. And if you don't have your audio set properly, you will not drive that single sideband circuit to actually transmit anything. Like, for instance, you could be pushing the talk and it looks like your radio is transmitting, but you're not pushing out any RF because there's no sound getting in there to actually push the single sideband signal out. And
Right.
I've run into that several times. So that can be
So-
confusing as well.
Right. So, and again, I've observed, been playing with digital, signals, ham signals for like 12 years, because I joined Barry's original DEN, the Digital Educational Network, like 12 years ago. And I have noticed through the years that the people with signal links, boom, bang, bang, you're on the air, and people with internal sound cards take a long time to get on the air. It took them weeks to get things, because apparently, and Carl may comment on this too. The directions in these Japanese built units, whether it be ICOM or Yaesu, are apparently they're not clear. Okay. I mean, I looked at mine and went, I'll stick with my signaling, because even the ICOM, the 7100, and I had a 7000 before that, programming a memory with tone and for a repeater. If you look at the book, you'll be there for 20 minutes. Okay. I've realized that after all you have to do on an ICOM, anyway, most of the ICOM, you go to an empty channel. You start out in memory, go to an empty memory channel, then switch to VFO, set up your VFO frequency, hit tone, hold the tone button, set your tone frequency. If you go to a repeater, it usually does the split automatically. When you have all that set up, takes 2 minutes, then you go back to your function switches, or if you have a dedicated for memory write, and write all that to memory. It takes about 1/10 of the time that they show you in the book. I don't know what the hell they're doing in the book. All you have to do is go to an empty memory thing, set up your VFO frequency, set up your tone if it's a repeater, and the PL tone. You can use the dial to boom, you're done. It just goes on and on in the book. It's just crazy. So I imagine that setting up a sound card, I looked at it, I think, real quick in both books, and it looked like there was a translation issue or something. I don't know what it was, but it looked a lot more complicated than it should be. And that's why I'm kind of a signaling fan. And I like the idea that there's controls. There's 3 controls right in front of you for transmit audio. It's a little bit of a trimmer, not great. Receive audio and delay. So if you're switching between WinLink, of course, I forget a couple of times. If you're using WinLink, you want to turn that delay almost all the way down, almost all the way counterclockwise. If you're in normal digital transmission, you want to 1 o'clock, something like that. I like to have those controls right in front of me. With an internal sound card, do you have those controls? And if you do, where are they? There's probably they're probably menu driven. If you have
you got to mine them out, is what you got to do from the menus.
Right. So now you're going into a labyrinth of menus just to do a quick, So there's advantages and disadvantages. You certainly save $150, or whatever it costs to get a new signal link. But there's
your signal link, you can move from radio to radio.
Yeah,
you have that ability for like $5.
I actually got another one. I do swap them. I have 2 of them, one for the 7300 and one for the 7100, and I swap them. I don't want them both into the computer at the same time. So I put a little tie wrap on them to color code them, so I know which is which. The white is the 7100, the black is the 7300. So if I'm in the 7300, I just swap, put it in. They both go into the same USB port. I got on this little tiny computer. I have 2 USB hubs, okay, because it only had 1 or 2 USB ports to begin with. Anyway, okay. So whether you have an internal sound card or an external sound card, it's like Carl says, it's very important. That's one of the first things you want to do, is you want to make sure that your computer can trigger the sound card if it's an external. If it's an internal, you're going to be triggering the transmitter and the sound card if things work right. So make sure that the transmitter is either into a dummy load, or you're on some kind of a simplex frequency where you're not going to bother anybody at low power. The other thing I do, and again, I'm lucky to have, I have a couple of handheld. So even when I'm on the repeaters, the handheld frequencies are set for my transmit frequency. For example, if I'm on our repeater, the handheld is set for 147.078. Okay. Not whatever the heck it is, whatever our input frequency is. So I can hear myself on the air when I'm with, using FL-DIGI or even WinLink. I can hear my own signal, and I listen for, audio clipping. Okay. I can also put some of that signal into my scope, and if I'm clipping, I can see the tops of it starting to flatten out or something like that. Charlie's joining us anyway.
For a while.
It is important. Hello, we're just talking about internal and external sound cards versus internal versus external, and very important to make sure that if you're going to use FL-DIGI that it's working with your sound card before you go on to anything else, and that's covered quite a bit in part 1 of the documentation.
Yeah, can I comment about something else now, Gary?
Sure. Yeah,
with the internal sound cards and all that, I have the same ICOMs you do, the 7100, 7300. Yeah, you need to download drivers. That's one thing. Extra step you have to take, and Yaesu's may be different than Kenwood's.
Right.
That's one
Right.
problem right there if you're changing brands. What I've actually done with mine, if the computer, I use the same computer all the time, okay, for the signal links, because, sliders and all that can be different between different computers, really
right.
foul you up. But I actually label the USB ports on my computer with a piece of tape, like
Right.
my VHF signal link goes in this port,
Yeah.
my HF radio goes in the other port, so that they don't get screwed up. And all too often, as you say, you hear on a net somebody says, "All right, stand by for my message," and they can't get the damn thing to transmit.
Yeah,
Happens
right.
all the time. What I do, since I make lots of mistakes, I before a net, I set things up and I listen to my own signal, as you probably do, rather than risk being embarrassed by going to try to
Right,
say something
right,
and have it go out.
Right.
But
Well,
I catch mistakes all the time.
also with the broadcast background, we had monitoring the output of the transmitter, but we also looked at our own signal on the air, because you can have all the instruments in the world that can still lie to you. Okay. So, but if you have a radio, in fact, we had a new weather guy come to us at Channel 3. This was years ago. He actually ended up in Chicago. You may remember him, Steve Baskerville. Okay. His first day on the job, I had to show him the weather computers. Now, I'm not a weather person, but I knew how to operate the weather computers. So I'm taking him through the weather room, because he's going on the air like that noon. Okay. So he was a little apprehensive. So I'm taking him through showing him these weather things, this is the weather thing. Here's radar. And then I said, if everything else fails, I said, and I point over that, I said, there's the window. You can just look out the window, see what's happening. So he thought that was hysterical. But that's, you can have all kinds of things monitoring your equipment. And one of the best things you can do is listen to your own signal, really. Yeah.
And if you got an SDR, it's all that better.
Yeah. Well, the SDR, you can't do that. It's so sensitive. In fact, Barry blew one up with his, it's got such a high gain front end that if you have it just on its own antenna and you go on with a 50-watt transmitter, you can just blow it, So I make sure, but I do have the handy talkie. I got the Baofeng. Okay. I set the Baofeng for, whatever I'm actually transmitting on, even if I'm on a repeater. I don't set it to the repeater frequency. I set it to my transmit frequency and turn it away from me so I don't get a lot of feedback if I'm, talking, whatever. And I can hear what's going on. I can hear if my signal's clipping. It's not a great speaker on those things, but you can certainly hear. I know what clipped audio sounds like. I've heard enough of it, yeah, it's just a great, for $27, I got a Baofeng that's like my monitor, Yeah. So, okay. What else are we going to talk about? I don't want to really go into FL amp because I don't have it loaded on this machine. I'm going to try to load it on the Mac. Does anybody want to transmit? I'm ready to either transmit or receive. On my 7100, I have it, fired up in the background. If anybody wants to practice any kind of a message form or a tune or anything like that, I'm ready to go.
Are you doing this over the repeater or?
Yeah,
you wanna
yeah.
do it
In
on
other words,
HF, or-
that's why they did. The new thing is the classroom or our little meeting is going to be on Zoom, but the repeater is open for any transmissions we want to do. Yeah, that way we don't tie the repeater up with the yak 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 yak. We can talk here, and then the repeater's just sitting and waiting for us. Right.
Okay.
So does anybody want to transmit and or receive? Let's see what I can. Let's see what I got over here.
I'm in Bergen County, so I have to opt out. I'm not in radio range.
Oh, okay. Oh, all right.
I got to reconfigure for the correct sound card.
Yeah. Also, I'm also at an advantage where I've got Zoom on the Mac, and I have everything else is on the Windows laptop, FL-DIGI, the operating FL-DIGI on the Windows laptop.
There is another repeater that constantly breaks my squelch. It must be
I
on the
think it's
same
Reading,
frequency.
Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's kind of crazy because somebody told me they're actually on the same PL, okay, which doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't.
They are. I don't
It
know
does not.
if I could actually look it up and see.
Let me listen. I'm actually looking at it right now. I don't. Oh wait, I think I could see their PL. Let me bring in the. Yeah, I'm using the waterfall on FL-DIGI.
Okay.
Let's see here.
That's the other thing. When I was listening like to 147.030 on the actually this was on the older SDR. And when they're talking, you can actually, it's not filtered out. You can actually hear the PL tone in the background when they're talking, because the SDR doesn't bother filtering it out. It's got a pretty flat audio response.
Did you just throw a 1500 hertz tone?
No, not me.
Huh. Somebody did.
Okay, it wasn't me.
Oh wait.
In fact, let me see if I can. Let me make sure everything's working.
Somebody's transmitting. Oh, the other repeater's doing digital stuff too.
Oh, great.
The one from Reading.
Oh my God. Okay, that's me now.
Yeah, you're loud.
All right, yeah, I am. Let me turn down a little. I'm not listening to myself, so I may be a little loud. All right.
Yeah, you're throwing harmonics all up and down.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I get a hold on, I gotta go to the other room and get my my handheld. Hold on.
Sure.
Yeah, Mike, Reading has been so strong lately. I've heard it in my car driving along. You
Yeah,
expect to hear it from home, but from the car.
Somebody sending digital stuff. They just triggered my RSID. Look at that. W3UCA, Tim. Yeah, it constantly. I have a B-Tech, which is a Baofeng in my car, and the squelches. It's very tricky, and this Reading repeater just constantly triggers it.
All right, let me listen to my signal here. That sounds pretty good, actually. I'm gonna turn it down a little bit. How's that?
Looks a little better, yeah.
Yeah, that's me listening to myself on 780. Let me kill it. Okay, so that's what I do. As I take a little handheld. Put it on the other side of the desk with the speaker facing away. And I can generally hear, whether my signal is grossly distorted, it's not an instrument, the human ears are not instruments, but
So do you have the ability to show your live FL-DIGI that is receiving right now?
no.
Okay.
I mean, it's on the other side of the room over my shoulder here.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to blow you a tone. So
Well, you could, I mean, I could, what are you going to send me?
it's just going to be a tune at 1500 just to make sure everything's looking good.
Okay, well, go ahead. Let me see what it looks like on the waterfall.
Doing 10 watts here.
I don't see anything.
It triggered the output. I mean, it triggered my, let's see here.
I'm going to listen. Hold on.
All right. Let me know when you need it.
All right, go ahead.
All right. Let's see here. All right. There it goes.
Oh, there it goes. Oh, okay. Now it's there. All right. Wasn't there before. It's pretty loud.
Yeah, I need to back it off a little bit,
Yeah,
I think.
in fact, normally, so what I normally do is I use two radios when I'm on the local net. I use to talk, I use the Anytone, and I use the 7100 to receive digital stuff. But the audio, the 7100 also goes into my scope.
Oh, okay.
So let me, unfortunately, because I was playing around with this stuff, that I disconnected that. Let me see if I can get the scope back up and I can tell you exactly what your signal looks like. Let's see.
This is Steve, and I heard and copied both you guys.
Okay.
Okay, that's good.
Want me to send you a net login, Steve?
That's okay.
It's what I use for the NBEMS.
I gotta wait till the scope heats up. Come on.
Wow.
Gary.
CRT, huh?
Yeah.
Gary, one of the things that last time you covered that I thought was really important was the macro buttons.
Oh, okay. We can go through those. Okay. Excellent. Okay, I don't know if you guys can see the scope. Wait a minute. Just
Wow. Just barely. It's like right on top of your head.
Yeah, there. How's that? Okay. Yeah. So that's the noise. That's noise. Okay, now, Mike, do your tone again.
All righty. Hitting it up. There we go. Oh, wait. Hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta back it off a little bit. Hold on. There we go.
Okay.
How's that look?
Well,
Too
the
low?
first line is so idle. I don't see clipping. Okay, I don't know if you can see it up there.
So what I did, and I actually learned this the last time you had the last net, is in the bottom right-hand corner you have where you could set your transmit audio, and I set that to negative.
That's
I set
right. That's
it
an
to negative 20. Yeah, the attenuator. Yeah.
That's an attenuator, right? Okay, cool. Okay, let's go back. Let me go back to my working FL-DIGI because Steve had a good point. We can review that.
Good job.
So, okay, everybody see FL-DIGI?
Yep.
Okay. let's take, let's see. All right. I'm going to go, do you see the CQ icon, the CQ macro in the upper? It's the
Mhm.
very first button, okay? I'm going to, oh, that's interesting. It's not, I'm right clicking it and it's not coming up. Okay. How about this one? Oh. Okay. Well, the only thing I can do is,
Is the window popping up off screen somewhere?
look, do have a second monitor. Hold on. Let's see. Let's try this one. No, it's just, okay, it works. Transmit, receive, okay. And I'm gonna toggle it back, but it's not letting me edit it. Unless, it could be because I'm covering a lot of stuff here. It could be, let me see something. I'm gonna reduce the size of this a little bit. Oh, well, I thought I was. Well, that didn't work. It might have something to do with the fact that Zoom is running with it, and I can't look at other screens.
So, and this is just a question, if you want, because we're going to need to do this in future digital sessions. Did you want to see if you could hand over so I could share? I have a screen up and you could just talk and I could click along with you if you want.
I could do that. Let's see if I could do stop chat, make reading allow record automatic. Oh, I don't see it clicking on you. Let me see. Oh,
I think it's a menu item where you have to enable participant sharing.
Yeah. Let me go back to Zoom. Hold on.
Sure. It's hilarious. I'm receiving data from this other repeater up in Reading. I'm watching them do the same thing we're doing.
Is it the same? Is it the same PL? Did you check that out?
I couldn't actually see that. It wasn't strong enough, but they are definitely using FL-DIGI and sending stuff.
Oh, let me stop my share for a second here. Okay, now. Meeting. Switch camera. Start share. I don't see.
I mean, sometimes you were able, if this was Google Meeting, you could just request it, but.
Yeah, and there's 3 dots next to you, and chat, pin, spotlight, make host. Oh, make host.
Oh, there you go, make host.
Okay. Change host. Okay, I'm going to give you the control.
There we go. All right,
Okay,
let's see.
All right.
I am going to do this. And let me know if you could see my FL-DIGI.
Okay, yes, I can.
All right.
All right.
So when you come over and right click this guy, here,
Uh-huh.
let me move the window open.
Okay.
Can you see the window?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, these are the macros. So if I close it, let me try to do this one. This one's a little bit there. Okay. So when I log into these narrow band emergency, whatever message service, you can see that these guys right here, you got tags that you could use. And this turns your transmitter on. Then you could say net control station, this is my call. Put your call in there based on what you configured. And
Right.
then, I'm in Gloucester, blah, 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 QRU, because I never send
Okay.
messages.
I see a whole bunch of stuff. Open up the TR macro.
All right.
Go into edit, just a simple one like TR.
There we go.
Okay, see, I'm not seeing, we're not seeing, whoop. Whoop, you must have left clicked it.
No, that was somebody else.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
the other repeater. So what I got to do is let me go down to my share
Okay.
because it's only sharing one window.
Ah,
Let me go here. There we go. Multiple participants. Bear with me here. Ugh. It's weird because it's like only sharing by, I want to share a screen.
Hmm.
Let's see here. Portion of a screen. Let's try that.
According to repeater book, the rating frequency is on 110.
oh, okay, so it's not the same,
It's not the same
No.
PL as ours.
huh? I wonder why. I mean, if it's on the air and we're hearing it, it's probably because we don't have a PL squelch.
Now it's because 2 years ago they changed over to RPL tone, and Chris contacted them and they said they don't care.
Oh, okay, well, that's it then. Huh, wow.
So can you see my macro now?
Yes.
I'm moving
okay,
it around.
Okay, yeah. Now, what I wanted to say was that anything in those brackets are commands. Okay, that's one of the first things you have to understand is all commands. And if you look at that list on the right that Mike is scrolling through,
Receive, transmit. Here's the one that we got here.
right, that's the toggle, right? So what you would do is you would, and we can really go through and actually build macros. I thought I had that covered in the documentation. I'm not sure why I don't.
Well, you can just move it over. See, I just added a transmit, blah, blah, blah.
Blah blah blah. Right, right.
And then I could add a receive, and that turns
I'll
the
tell you one of
transmitter
the
off.
one of the things that I go keep scrolling on that. Yeah, down to the bottom till you see modem. Modem.
Oh, it
Whoa,
changes
there-
modems. There you go. Look at that.
You can set you can set a macro button to change modems with one click.
Yeah, let's try that.
Okay, so right now you're on 8 PSK 250. So set one up. Go do a new
I'll
Mac.
do Thor 22. And then we'll
Okay, get rid of all
transmit.
that. Yeah, get rid of all. Don't take out the transmit and receive and all that because
Oh, okay.
you don't want to transmit and you don't want to receive it. Okay, now you're going and put down the Thor 20. Just call it Thor 22. Apply. Don't forget to apply because that saves it. And then
Oh, there it is.
And then
Okay.
close. And then close. Now click on it, and it should.
So when you see that, we'll click
Right.
on it.
Right.
There you
Look at
go.
So that's how you're right. Now that's you can go, let's say you're in one of the Thor modes. If you go down to that lower left-hand corner and left click it, you can choose another Thor mode, but you can't go to another mode. You can't go to another group. Whereas if you set up, remember, you can have 48 of these things. Okay. If you go up to view and go to view hide 48 macros.
Where are we at here? Oh, there we go. Yeah.
Click on that. Now it moves them all to the top, and you have all 48 that you can play with.
That's so busy.
Okay. Well, that's the way I set mine up, and I'm only using maybe half of them. But I love the fact that they're all there for me, and I've got a whole bunch of modes as macro that I can change modes. As soon as somebody said, I don't even wait till they transmit their ID. If somebody says, I'm going to a MFSK 128, I go up there, boom, I'm there before they even try to send it. Okay. Because sometimes it depends upon propagation. The change doesn't always work.
Yeah.
Over a network. Okay. So I have all the popular modes that I use all with macro buttons.
It's a good idea.
Yeah, Steve, did that answer questions, or do you want to have anything? Have anything to add on the macros?
No, that's good, Gary. That was very helpful last time because I've got 4 rows of macros set up. So
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. Yeah.
There's that. They're doing another tone.
And that's the Reading?
Yeah.
Yep.
Holy smoke.
Oh, wait. That's full quieting. Let's see what they're saying.
That to me can't be Reading. It's gotta be somebody. Somebody's playing games with us here.
Yeah, usually our repeater is full quieting, but
Yeah.
I'm only getting about halfway up.
Oh, really? Because I'm hearing those, I heard that was 8 PSK 250, I guess it was. And it sounded full quieting to me, and it looked clean on the waterfall.
Yeah, I wish I would have got his RXID. I could have seen what he sent.
Okay, any other topics that you want to cover for tonight on FL-DIGI? Do we need another FL-DIGI session? That's another big question.
Well, I don't know if anybody wants FL-AMP to be discussed.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. I'd like to do that next week, and then that'll finish us up with FL-DIGI. FL-AMP is very useful. And I want to have a chance to install it on this machine to try to demo it. I may not actually transmit, but I could transmit on the air with FL-AMP. So I think that's what we'll do. We're gonna, unless anybody else wants something else covered this evening,
Well,
not next week, but next session, which would be the 1st of November, or whenever, first Monday of November, which is
so is it only UI and Steve that currently have capability to send and receive right now?
well, Carl does. Carl
Well,
has.
I know he's not near his radio, or he's
Right.
out of range. We could get on HF if you want.
I'm not sure about Court. I'm not sure. And I'm not sure about Bob, WA3 at KOL, because neither one of them spoke. And I'm not sure about Doug, because we didn't hear from them. I see they're on there, but they could be, they could be out bowling. We don't.
Well, Court, last I saw from Court, he was installing FL Message.
Oh, okay. All right, cool. Well, maybe.
Yeah, but I'm not set up to do anything yet.
Okay. All right. No hurry, but
No pressure.
You got no pressure, but you have till November. Actually, the first Monday in November is the 7th. So you got till November 7th to set something up. You don't have to, but at least you got some time.
one of the things, Gary, I was thinking about is once we go through with the whatever we're going to learn at the next session, maybe we should start trying to transmit and receive and transmit and see how people do with that.
Yeah, that's what we do tonight. But yeah. Well, maybe we'll have the next session, which we'll cover FL-AMP and do some transmitting on that, and then have one more session the second Monday in November, and do more transmitting than talking. And then that'll wrap up FL-DIGI. How's that sound?
That's good, but it'll be the 3rd Monday in
Yeah,
November.
the 3rd Monday. Well, the first right. The first Monday, which is the 7th. I'm sorry. Wait a minute. Today is the 2nd. Yeah. Okay. So we're done with this until November, and the first Monday in November is the 7th, and then the 3rd Monday, right, is the 21st. So it'll be the 7th and the 21st. So the 7th we'll do FL-AMP. We'll cover FL-AMP. We'll try to do some transmitting, but we'll definitely do transmitting on the 21st. It'll be mostly transmitting. How's that sound?
Sounds like a good plan to me.
Okay, everybody else agreed to that? Sounds good. Okay. I'll try to get some kind of an operating FL-AMP on this machine so you can, see the screens, and then I'll have my real one, set up for I'll have an FL-AMP message set up, and you guys can do the same. We'll try to send some FL-AMP messages, because that's going to be new for us. We haven't done a lot with FL-AMP. FL-AMP has the ability to send CSV files, HTML files. You can even attach a picture, but it attaches a real picture. Therefore, it's not going to work. It's going to be like, it's, the MFSK pictures that we send with both MMSSTV and MFSK 128 are really kind of like facsimile pictures. FL-AMP, you can actually attach a picture file.
Yeah, it's the digital version of it. Like you're
Right.
actually sending the file itself.
You're actually sending a file. So that could take, you could start Wednesday and finish up Saturday, So and that's not good for a repeater. So we'll see. We'll bounce it around. We'll have some fun and stay loose. Court maybe can come up with some equipment, even if he just receives, so long as that'll be a step in the right direction. And then if there's any question from anybody, Court or Doug or anybody, Bob, email me and I'll try to answer it as best I can. If I can't find the answer, I'll ask some other people. Okay. Anything else for this evening? Oh, give me control back for.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. There we go. Thank you.
And let me see if I can make you host. Let's see. How do I do that? How did you do it?
I went up to on the well, this is the Mac version, but it's basically under Zoom. Wait a minute, let me oh no, it was under oh boy, hold on.
Should be able to do it under participants if you go to his name.
Yeah, let me see
Pick the
here.
drop down.
Yeah, well,
Hey, let's see here. Good old Gary. Make host. There you go. Oh, no, I don't want to make Doug the host. I gotta make this is the wrong one.
make Gary the host. Where did you see make host?
It's in the 3 dots next to your name.
Oh, the 3 dots.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
See,
I'm a Google Meeting guy, not a Zoom guy.
right. Yeah. This is also a Zoom teaching class, we on the side. I'm not
All right.
the host. I'm not the host, so I don't have. Nobody's got 3 dots yet. Did you make me the host yet?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
it's
the
on there.
host, participants.
Oh, there's Doug. You did make me the host?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you should be the host.
It says
Oh,
host
now I
next to
got
your name.
dots. Okay, now I have dots. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so we are Doug, have you been listening? Taking notes?
And taking notes, and I've got 2 rigs sitting on my desktop here, and one ran away with the signal link, and I turned off the and had to run around to the back of the desk to get the other that was
Oh,
connected.
gee, wow.
See, now I can see your scope, Gary.
Oh, I just blurred the background. Because, yeah, wait a minute. Let me unblur the background. Oh, yeah, there it is. Yeah, now if you want to see your signal, you want to send a tone, you'll see.
Yeah,
You'll
sure,
see
why
the
not?
sine waves.
I'm gonna turn that back on. Here we go.
Watch the scope. There you go. I can turn it. I can turn the gain down a little bit on the radio. Go ahead. Give it a shot. Go ahead, Mike. Okay. And I'm gonna look.
I did change it. There we go.
Okay. Yeah. So the tops are not clipped. Okay. Good. All right. All right. Any other business here before we call it an evening?
Hey, Gary,
Yes.
is there anything about this FL-AMP that I need to add to the website for people to?
Good question. I thought I covered. I guess I did. What are you laughing about?
I'm sorry. This other repeater, they've been
Oh.
trying to test with a tone. And when I sent one, I heard him say that was the best one yet. And the guy's like, I didn't send it.
Oh my God. I guess 2 meters is open tonight.
Yeah.
I wonder if 10 meters is. We'll lose Steve.
I'm still here.
The 10 meters Brazil.
I thought that I did. Wait a minute. Guess I didn't. 13. What's the Okay, I guess I did not cover FL. No, it was just FL-DIGI and FL message. There's no documentation at this point. We're just going to probably go through it live. Jeff.
Okay, that's all right.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't have time to come up with something. It
Okay.
takes a long time to get these things done because I do a lot of screenshots, as you can see. And yeah, so we'll just, it's not that complicated. It's really a pretty straightforward program. You bring files already made up into the thing. There's no forms. Well, we'll go through it, you know, starting on the 7th of November. We'll probably do
I always kind of compared it to, you guys remember X modem when you used to dial in over a modem on the phone?
Yeah, well, I remember dialing in over modems.
Well, it's same thing as it's a file transfer is all it is.
Right.
Although I don't think there's any error correction. You'd have to actually
well,
report it.
It depends what mode you use. Remember, it's dependent on FL-DIGI modes, and some of them have great error correction. Okay, in fact, the one Carl at KT, what's that one you like, Carl?
Yeah, it's MT63. It's pretty broadband, but that's just forward error correction.
Yeah. So when you want to get blocks that are missing, you report them. But we could talk about that.
Yeah, we can talk about that, right?
Primitive stuff.
You have a choice of
it works.
Yeah, you have a choice of sending the header more than once, or make sure everybody knows what's coming. If you only send it once, sometimes people miss the header and they miss the whole file. Sometimes we send the header 3 times. It doesn't take that long. It's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool program. Okay, well, I think we're gonna call it an evening. We went an hour and 15 minutes. That's not bad. Time flies when you're having fun. Yeah. So, okay, we'll see everybody on this net on the 7th of November. And we'll be covering. If you want to put that in the in whatever the publications you want to put it in, Jeff, we'll be covering FL-AMP.
Okay.
Which is an addition, it's part of the FL-DIGI family.
Okay.
FL-AMP. Okay. A lot of people say FLAMP. I don't like saying. I usually had arguments with Barry. He always called it FLAMP. If it's FL-DIGI, it's not FL-DIGI. That the guy didn't name it FL-DIGI. So why are you calling it FLAMP?
It doesn't roll off the tongue as easy.
FL stands for fast, light, and Digi is digital. I'm not sure what the AMP is, but we'll figure it out. Okay.
Another thing is that everybody should be aware that they need to download AMP onto the computer for the next class.
Yes. Just go back to the oh God, by the way, I can't remember that poor guy's W1. It's J
HKJ.
HKJ, right? It's the 3 middle buttons on the keyboard, but they're not in order. So it's HK and then J, which is in the middle, right? I can never remember that. Oh well. Yeah, if you go that, stay away from SourceForge. Oh my God, I don't even want to get started with that.
Great to
Okay.
hear you say that because I rely on them for a lot of crap.
Really?
I've never been spammed by them or had any garbage from them that I know of.
Well, they just set it up so if you're, a lot of the times we're in a hurry, we're not really looking at the screen, and it's easy to load the wrong thing, to load what they want.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. There's distractions. There's banner ads.
Right.
Oh yeah.
You physically have to say traditional download.
Right. Yeah. But with
HKJ.
it's all straightforward stuff, So, yeah. Okay. I think.
Thanks for a great net.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks a lot.
I think we had some fun tonight. And
Good.
we'll see everybody on the 7th of November. Yeah.